studio didn't want to go and do a voice commentary track, but we decided to put one out there and let people check it out, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. As many of you may know, the movie took us about 6-7 years to make. It was a really long trip. It was a very long path, but it's been my main focus for the last 6 years, this film, and it's everything I've wanted to do. I think the film always started off with this idea of taking sci-fi to a new and different place. I felt that science fiction had really been hijacked by techno-lust and movies that were really interested in gadgets and I kind of feel like audiences we've all seen that and all done that. We like the idea of contrasting something really long ago with something really, really deep in the future. So all the Mayan mythology in the film, not the Mayan necessarily mythology, but their cosmology is really based on truth. They always looked at those 3 stars of the Orion, what we call the Orion Nebula, and we actually see the 3 stars that are the belt of Orion when we look up. They actually saw the triangle, and in their homes, their hearthstones were in the formation of a triangle with the fire in the center of them, and that fire was Xibalba, which is the same thing as the Orion Nebula, which is where Tom is traveling to in this future sequence. We really made a rule very early on that we didn't want to do trucks in space. We wanted to sort of erase all sort of evidence of technology because, we didn't want to make a technology-based film. We wanted to make a film about the organic and about, where things may return to, which is about connecting with the planet in a way that we've forgotten. Everything in the background of the film, including of all these space sequences, including those stars behind them, is nothing was generated by computers. Those stars were photographed, not actual stars, but they were photographed. And a lot of what you'll see in the backgrounds of the film were, organic elements, and that was just always. I just wanted to get away from CGI because I kind of felt that CGI was just people had seen it so much. Once again, I wanted to try and do something that looked very different and was unique. Many of you might know what Xibalba kind of represents, and I mean, Izzy talks about it on the rooftop pretty clearly. Hugh is an exceptional actor and incredibly skillful technically, probably from all the work he's done, in action films and stuff. And he was just so willing to try things in every different way. We would run take after take, and we would try every single emotion that could possibly work, and throw out ideas to each other. And we would just do take after take, and it wasn't like you wait all day for them to light, and then you wait all day for hair and makeup and everything else to work out, and then finally you're on set, and that's the fun of it. That's what actors and directors should be doing is trying stuff out. And for us, the entire film was a journey from darkness to light. In fact, you can the opening battle scene and its darkness to the end of the film, which is almost complete white, was a conscious journey. This film we got to work again with Clint Mansell and the Kronos Quartet. I've had a great collaboration with Clint on Pi and Requiem and now on The Fountain, and it was this was just such a touching score. It's very much a fairy tale, this film. I've always wanted people to sort of see it as a fairy tale, but a fairy tale for adults. A psychedelic fairy tale is what I like to call it. There's very much a idea about shapes in the film, and how shapes evolved across time. it's funny because, a lot of people have talked about how the film all works together. And we definitely have a perception of how all three time periods and in fact, I think it's pretty clear. But I don't know if I really want to talk about it because, I think part of the enjoyment of the film is the discussion of how everything is connected. But it really does all add up to one way. And a lot of people have figured it out. It's really not that complicated, and I think it's more of the fun of the piece of who's actually exists and who doesn't exist, and who's a memory and who's a story, and what's a metaphor and what's not a metaphor. I'll tell you, there's as far as characters, there's very, very few metaphors in this film, so that's a hint for you. The way the film is constructed, there were many ways to put the film together. And we tried many different ways. We ended up with the film pretty much exactly how we wrote it. I think one day, perhaps, I'll do a different version of the film. It'd be interesting to even have fans out there mash it up and try different ways to combine it, because the story does fit together in many different ways. We built all these sets, including the Great Pyramid, inside of a giant long factory that used to build trains in Montreal. The tattoo work was really hard. I mean, if you notice, the tattoos actually go from more faded and more blurry to more and more sharp and intense. That was the great work of Judy Chin and her team. That image through the microscope is actually is more raw Peter Parks footage. Some of that imagery we used for space, just a lot less processed. So that's really what we started with, and then the visual effects teams kind of turned that into the space vistas. If you look at those clouds, that's actually yeast growing. Those clouds down at the bottom of that frame. You got to try and pull off something that's going to look good. And to look good, you got to hope it looks good in 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And hopefully because we shot something that's an actual chemical reaction, it won't date. He finally understands. And the trip begins to the end. What does he understand, you ask? I don't know. You're going to have to watch the film again. That, to me, if anything, should be the poster of the film, The Seed About to Go into the Grave. Well, very much what the film's about. This idea that, when we're done, we go back to where we've come from. It's an old idea. We're all born out of the Big Bang, and the same material that was unleashed by the Big Bang is the same material that forms us and will form humanity and all the world that's yet to come. I know I didn't give that much away, but I hope you enjoyed a small chat. I watched the film, and it was such a journey for all of us, and over those 6-7 years, so much went through our heads about what this film is that I really, in one pass, can't really, just all these different memories came up of different ideas and different things we talked about, and I hope, some of them were enlightening, and perhaps down the line we'll meet and we can have more conversations about it. For me, it was the type of film that I think we worked really hard on, and there are many details in the film, and I feel that people that there's more to get from the film the more you sit back and just sort of let it soak in.